Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we are on the website of NYE&CO Auctioneers based in the US. We've been on this site before to look at some interesting instruments with carved heads, and we're here back again. There's a private auction that's been running on July the 21st and July the 22nd. It is July 22nd today. So the auction on the 22nd has a few of these kind of violins with carved heads, or just carved heads on their own. So obviously there's been a collector and they've been kind of getting rid of the collection gradually, so there's a little bit over 30 items here, so it's not going to take very long to go through this. So we'll just have a quick look. For anyone that's interested, obviously check out the information as normal. It's 23% buyer's premium if you buy directly from the or if you bid directly from NYE website, but if you're on like Invaluable or one of those other ones, it goes up to 28%. So they're trying to get you to bid via their platform, which makes sense. So yeah, without further ado, let's just have a look and see what kind of interesting carved heads that we have on some of these instruments. So we have a folk art violin with a monkey's head, possibly American or English, labelled indistinctly. So a monkey's head with pearl eyes and fangs. So I think, as we've seen before with these instruments, they're not of the greatest quality, unfortunately. No bids on that. So you can see here, finishes in 2 hours, so it's today the auction. So by the time this is uploaded, you might just about have about 15 minutes to have a look at it. But yeah, so far folk violin, not particularly well made. So here's a American folk art carved violin with a maiden's head, 20th century, labelled. Let's have a quick look if we can see. It's quite hot today, so the computer is running a bit slow. Well, that's once again not the finest of carving, unfortunately. No bids on that one again, but maybe there'll be bids by the end. I think a lot of these instruments have kind of replacement heads on already existing bodies. I think someone was just really interested in heads. Canadian violin, carved partridge head, made by John Peel, Whitby, Ontario, 1939. Let's have a quick look at this. This one I think is one of the better ones. It's a bit better made, and I think the carving's a bit interesting. Yes, I do remember. Yes, this one is actually a bit more interesting. It's quite nice carving, that one, so no bids on that one so far. And American folk art carved violin, dog's head, cherry wood back, possible ash sides. This is a bit of a curious one, isn't it? Yep, that's interesting varnish. Someone's gone out. Let's have a quick look at the head. Ooh. That's like fairly sweet, actually. It's quite a cute little head. It's not too bad, actually. Quite simple. No, that's all right. That's interesting enough. An unusual American folk art violin, shaped body. Pennsylvania, possibly Lancaster County, 2nd quarter, 19th century. Yeah, this is very odd, this one, actually. Interesting, simple scroll there. Big GA there. Very, very odd. I actually don't mind this scroll. Quite like these simple scrolls. It looks a bit almost Lineroll-esque. American folk art carved violin, horsehead, by Craig Walker, Woolkill, NY, 1995. attached as a repair to an older German body, according to Mr. Walker, now an established violin maker. This was one of his first efforts and the only carved horse head he'd ever made, with a letter from the maker. So there you go. Bit of history. So someone's interested in that. So there's a bid on that one. So there you go. German body, an American head. It's kind of a horse head there. American folk art violin, man's head, mid-19th century. Let's have a look at this. Slightly curious. No bids on that. Let's have a look a bit at the head. Yep. Another American violin, 1900, fanciful carved man with moustache and sideburns. There you go. Yeah, that's interesting decoration. Some curious instruments, really, that this person has collected. Yep, that's an interesting head. Let's have a look at the back, actually. Interesting design. The body itself isn't too bad, actually. It's fairly curious. Another American violin, 1920, carved native American chieftain. Let's have a look at this. Okay. Most of these just look like they're kind of new scrolls on surrogate bodies. That's kind of interesting enough if you're interested in kind of Native American kind of stuff, I suppose. Another American violin, a dog's head, applied to a Saxon violin, repaired by John Kohler, Milwaukee, 1885. Let's have a look at this. That's another cute little puppy there. Let's just see. Yeah, it's cute enough. Quite like the actual body of that one. I think there's a better picture of the back at all. Interesting there. Yeah, grafted straight onto the original neck. That's a curious one. Another American violin, man's head, Hagen and Knott, Salt Lake City, Utah, 1954. Well, that one's an acquired taste. Yeah, very fascinating. What's here? Unusual carved violin, serpent head, possibly a prototype with hidden sculpted sound holes, replacing the traditional F holes in the body, and an unusual series of round. These written really well. Series of round cool card, the sides of each scroll. I'm not really sure what that's trying to say. Unusual carving of the head features a glass-eyed serpent. Yeah. Well, this is pretty curious. Is there a better thing of the side so we can see? Oh yeah, there you go. It's like almost like sound ports rather than sound holes. I quite like that, actually. That's pretty interesting. Let's have a look at the back. Nice bit of bird's eye there on the back. Quite like that, actually. Not bad, not bad. Let's see. Have a look at this head a bit closer. It's just a bit silly, really, isn't it? So it's a shame. I think heads are an acquired taste, really, and I do like a carved head, but I'm a bit specific about what I like. Another American violin, carved and polychrome decorated badger's head, tuning pegs inlaid with abalone shell. Let's have a look. It's interesting. It does look a bit like a crazed badger. Yeah, that's a bit scary, really. Well, if you like badgers. So it's quite nice wood, actually. Yeah, I quite like that. Interesting, like two-piece neck there, and then there's a bit of a repair to the button there. So, American folk violin again, woman's head, from about 1870. Interesting F-holes there. It's fairly plain. It's actually more interesting than I thought they would be, to be honest. It's quite curious. Another American violin, animal head. Fanciful creature. Stones for eyes and nostrils. Yeah, it's another bizarre entity again. Yep. Real curiosities there. Another American violin. Highly detailed fanged snake head. No bids on that so far. That's a bit curious F-holes there. See if we can have a look at the... yeah, it's quite a interesting snake. Curious F-holes there. See if we can get a good picture of the back. Yeah, I just do quite like these American violins. I like the wood choice for some of them. It's just a shame about the heads. German line head violin of American interest. Okay. Circa 1890. Oh, applied with American eagle on the reverse. Is that what they're trying to say? Okay. Now I understand. This is a pretty standard late 19th century lion head from Germany. Not very nice. Pretty low quality body there. Nothing particularly interesting. You can get these a lot better versions of this. Oh, I see. Here we go. It's probably imported. Yeah, there's the American eagle on the back. So there you go. Like they say, American interest. Another lion head one here. Another one with the American eagle. It's got tuners on, so it's in a bit of a state. I think the actual lion is a bit nicer on this one, but it's still, these are not particularly interesting. Another German lion head, Klingenthal, American eagle. So someone likes these, or imported all these American eagles. That's a horrible lion head. Yeah, that's not very nice. And eagle on the back. German figured head violin. 19th century, well carved image of a man. Inside label repaired by M. Nebel and Bro. New York City, 1890. On a metal stand. So I think someone who collected these must have been going to all the local kind of auctions and just collecting these. Once again, nothing particularly fascinating about this. Another German violin, sharp-nosed man head, possibly southern Germany. It's quite detailed actually. Yeah, it's fairly detailed head there. So I'm not sure who's really would ever want to play that, but interesting nevertheless. American violin with a fox head, 1835, made by J.M. Marrow. Carved fox head and corner staining. Back of body is spruce. The ribs are chestnut. Okay. Interesting. That kind of amateur made thing. This fox head is cute enough. Yeah, you can see the spruce back there. Interesting. Bohemian German school violin, sea monster head, 19th century, with a rare fanciful carved sea monster. Well, no one's interested in buying it so far. Wow, okay, that is pretty odd. Yeah, I don't think I've seen one of these before, so Yeah, that is pretty bizarre. Right, that's thoroughly unpleasant, that one, I have to say. I mean, it's like fairly detailed workmanship, but not very nice, in my opinion. Anyway, that's a bit of a strange one. American violin with a bear head, mid-19th century. Caricature of a bear's head atop the scroll. Needs repair. It looks like your kind of typical folky violin. Not many pictures there. Strange looking bear, but okay. German tiger maple violin with head of man. 1900s, 1920. Man with short hair and large ears. Currently disassembled. Yeah, image is a bit funny there. Interesting. Yeah. Partial components of a European violin. Detailed carvings of mustachioed man with thick flowing hair. Okay. This is a very folky style instrument. That's quite comical. I like that. It's just quite amusing, really. Yeah, I think this is it's another bizarre thing. Man's head with moustache, just on its own. It's quite nice, quite well detailed actually. It's interesting enough. Folk art carved violin head, open mouthed animal, American, 19th century. Let's have a quick look at this. What is this? Okay, that's slightly unusual, but quite interesting. I don't quite know what it's supposed to be, but curious nevertheless. Folk art carved violin head, open mouthed lion, American, 18th century. Okay, so this is yeah, I'm not convinced that this is actually American, because you see these all the time coming out of Germany. These are like really common and sometimes get attributed to French kind of violins, so I'm not really 100% sure that is American, to be honest. Like I said, you see these quite a lot. Pretty standard kind of gargoyle-y kind of lion things. So another art carved violin head, lion's head. So yeah, it's a pretty standard lion's head there. Nothing too crazy there, pretty normal. So let's have a quick look. So let's have a look. Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty standard. 19th century. Here's a broad-nosed baboon, apparently. American, possibly 19th century. Okay, that's a curious one. Folk art carved violin head, gentleman's head. American, 19th century. Something a bit different. Young boy's head there. American, 19th century. Quite a fascinating collection, really. Folk art carved violin head, a ferret's head. Another curious one there. 11 violin bows, how random. Oh, look, not particularly exciting. Oh, I think that's it. We're out of the instrument zone, I think, now. Okay, so there you go. So that was a whole load of different carved heads. Nothing particularly kind of outrageously amazing there, but still some kind of curious things there for sure. So yeah, that was about it really. Let's go back. Let's see if there's anything else. There's a Steinway there. Let's just make sure that we've got everything here. Collectibles, musical instruments. Yep. Yeah, I think it's a curious collection. There's nothing that I'd really say is particularly great, to be honest, unfortunately. But definitely good to look at. I think this is probably the best one, actually. So I'm getting a bit lost there. It's very hot here. Yeah, this kind of partridge head violin, I think it's kind of interesting enough. Looks like it's fairly well kind of made, I think. Yeah, it looks interesting. So yeah, if you're interested in this auction, check it out. I'll put a link in the description, and it's good to look at these kind of curious violins. I don't think there's anything that would really be worth trying to use or play, but if you like different carved heads, then this is a good thing for you. So once again, thanks a lot for watching. I'll put a link in the description, and yeah, check out the auction yourself in the next couple of hours. So ciao for now. Many thanks for tuning in to the Musical Instrument Investigator. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please like, subscribe and turn on notifications, and watch out for the next video coming soon.